Cold steel bars, a heart hammering against the ribs. Tonight, escape wasn't a possibility, it was a necessity. But how? The answer lies not in magic, but in the cunning of a man who defied the impossible. In the 1800s, Jack Sheppard was the most famous thief and robber. In the weeks before his dramatic execution, he was the most famous criminal in London because of how many times he escaped from jail, including 2 times from Newgate. In the early 18th century, Jack Sheppard was born into a poor family in Spitalfields, London. This area was known for having highwaymen and criminals. He learned how to be a carpenter as a trainee. By 1722, after 5 years of training, he was already a skilled worker and still had less than a year to go. He was only 5'4" tall and had a slight build. He was 20 years old. People said that his quick smile, charm, and personality made him famous in the bars of Drury Lane. That's where he met some bad people and started living with Elizabeth Lyon, also known as Edgeworth Bess. He threw himself into this dark world of drinking and whoring with all his heart. He had to give up his job as a builder at some point, so Sheppard started stealing to make more money. His first crime was small-time shoplifting in the spring of 1723. Not long after, he met and became friends with Blueskin, the thug's name for Joseph Blake. His crimes got worse. Between 1723 and 1724, he was caught and jailed 5 times, but he got away 4 times. This made him famous and very popular, especially among the poor. His first escape was in 1723. He was sent to Street Ann's roundhouse for theft, and Bess Lyon visited him there. She was caught and arrested as well. They were sent to New Prison in Clerkenwell together and locked up in a cell called the Newgate Ward. The next morning, Sheppard cut his chains off, drilled a hole in the wall, and took out an iron bar and a wooden bar from the window. They got on the ground by tying sheets and blankets together, with Bess going first. After that, they climbed over a 22-foot-high wall to get away. This was pretty amazing because Jack wasn't very tall and Bess was pretty big. His second escape, August 30, 1724. If Jack Sheppard were found guilty of stealing in 1724, he would be put to death. Back then, in Newgate, there was a door with big iron spikes that led to a dark passageway that led to the cell for the doomed. Sheppard filed one of the spikes down so that it would be simple to break off. In the evening, Bess Lyon and Moll Maggot, another prostitute, came to see him. They caught the guard's attention while he took off the spike. He then pushed his head and shoulders through the opening and got away with the help of the 2 women. In this case, his small size worked out in his favor. He wasn't free for long though. The 15th of October 1724 was his last and most famous escape. Between 4 p.m. and 1 a.m. on October 15, Jack Sheppard made his most famous escape, this time from Newgate Prison. His handcuffs came off, and he used a bent nail to open the padlock that was holding his chain to the floor. He broke through a few locks to climb up a wall and get to the top of the jail. He went back to the cell to get a blanket, which he then used to slide off the roof and onto another roof next to it. He got out of the house through the front door while still wearing his leg irons. He talked a passing cobbler into taking off the leg irons, but less than 2 weeks later, he was caught because he was too drunk to fight the police. A narrative of all the robberies, escapes, etc. of John Sheppard, written by Daniel Defoe, was so impressed by Jack Sheppard's bold escapes that he hired someone else to write his story in 1724. Sheppard was found guilty and given the death penalty by hanging at Tyburn. This ended his short time as a thief. To show how much people loved him as a rebel hero, women dressed in white and throwing flowers lined the path to his execution. He did, however, have one last big plan to get away. He was going to jump from the gallows. Daniel Defoe and his editor, Appleby, came up with a plan to get the body from the gallows after 15 minutes and try to bring it back to life, since 1 in 1,000 people could survive being hanged. The crowd didn't know about this plan, which was a shame. So that their hero would die quickly and with less pain, they rushed forward and pulled on his legs. That night, he was buried in the street, Martin in the Fields Cemetery. If you enjoyed hearing about Jack Sheppard's daring feats, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what other historical mysteries you'd like to crack next.